Alright, so this story is going to be a little bit different from the ones we've been telling tonight. It's going to be what I call real D&D. This is going to take a little bit, not a little bit, probably a lot of sort of introduction. My first Dungeons & Dragons character I ever made, his name was Rodrin O'Doul. He's a dwarven fighter, Eldritch Knight variety, castle spells, fight. He is the sort of middle child of a blacksmith family. He's the sort of runt, you know, this standard middle child thing where it's like, he's not a runt per se, it's more so, you know, the older brother wants to go on big, better things. His little sister was like a child prodigy type thing. And he was just kind of basic. But sort of early in his life, not too early, he was pretty much a man by this point in terms of dwarven years. And there was a war. Humans attacked and the reason they attacked, or the reason they attacked was that, they wanted more, so there was a sort of like council, and each member of the council is based of a different race in the sort of grand kingdom that runs the whole continent. And he was told the reason that the humans attacked the dwarves was because they were not given a seat on the council. Roger, thinking this was fucking horseshit, he's like, my brothers and sisters died for what? For political power? Like, it didn't make any sense to him. So he grew to have a sort of resentment towards humans. He's untrustworthy of them. And sort of after the war ended, you know, he tried to get back onto his feet, you know, get back to smithing. And he had a sort of like falling out with just like his love of the craft. So he just kind of went around the world kind of find himself. And eventually he ended up sort of becoming a venture in to fight dwarves. They all get trained on like combat and stuff. But his mother was a famous wizard, and so he sort of understood a bit about magic, and that's sort of like where the influence came in, where he sort of like fused the two styles to become what is, you know, mechanically known as an Eldritch Knight. And he joined an adventuring party, effectively. They worked pretty much under the king. They were sort of like not like a secret task force, but they got shit done when it needed to get done. We slowly were discovering that one of the king's oldest allies betrayed him. We tried to figure out why that was. And this adventure sort of took us all around the world, to the point where we fought the leader of the humans. His name was Leohorn, Choister, I believe his name was. And we sort of fought and almost killed him. And before we killed him, he sort of summoned, I believe, demons to the world. That was sort of the next big leg in our story. Eventually, after a bunch of crazy shit happens, we find Leohorn. He's still damaged from our battle. He's still severely wounded, and we got to talk to him. And we asked him why he did it. And he meant, the reason why he had a war was this long convoluted thing, but the reason the war happened was not the reasons Roger had been told. Apparently, Rodrin's mentor, it was some racist bullshit. Rodrin's mentor is sort of like a man he had just grown close to, just out of random, nothing planned. He was just someone that was introduced into the world that my DM had sort of come up with, and just out of the blue, Rodrin had become extremely close with this man just throughout the story, and he sort of looked up to this man. He sent for the assassination of Leohorn, and they ended up killing his daughter and his brother instead. And we had these people have played an important role in the story, as people have messed with their bodies through necromancy and all that sort of shit. And the reason they did it is because Leohorn was going to marry a dwarf. So, Rodrin, this dwarf, had spent his entire life sort of hating, despising humans, and sort of fighting to sort of stop evil and corruption that he saw in the world. And he didn't see that it was like, that shit started at home. And it's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of hard to explain how this feels, because it's like, maybe it's not the best written story, but sometimes when you play Dungeons and Dragons, if you're the right DM and you have the character you're close enough with, you kind of become that character. And for me, it literally felt like everything I'd fought for was bullshit. Was for nothing. I was legitimately not okay. This happened in a fucking game, and I loved it. What the fuck is that? I'm sitting here, I love movies, I love books, I love video games. But how the fuck are you gonna come close to that? You cannot do this to me with a video game, you can't do this to me with a book. This is something that exists only in this genre, in this sort of game, this collaborative storytelling is the only place something like this can happen. And I gotta say, I fucking love Dungeons and Dragons. It's like, oh man, ever since I started playing, it's just taken over my life and it's my fucking everything. And yeah, that's my story. Algernon O'Doul, he's forever always gonna be like a part of me. And happy D&D December.